We will now create the next section, which is the contact box, which we see in the top in the second column. Let's go into our code editor and find the second column, which is this div tag. Inside this, we start with creating a box component. So we add a div with the class box. First, we'll add the heading element, an h2 heading element with the class title and the text contact info. We'll close this tag again. Then we'll create a media object. So we add a div tag with the class media. Now we'll create the media left side. So we add a div tag with the class media left. We want this to be an icon, so we add the class icon, and the class is medium to get this the medium size. Now we want to make layers with font awesome icons, so we need to add the class FA layers. This will place the icons on top of each other. We'll also make them fixed width, so we add the class FAFW, and finally we'll make them twice as large, so we add the class FA2X. Inside this we create our two actual icons. The first will be among the solid icons, so we add the class FAS, and it will be a circle with the class FA circle. We wanted to have the primary color, so we add the class has text primary, and we'll close our I tag again. The second icon in the layer will also be a solid icon, and it will be the male icon, and the color will be white, so we add the class has text white. We want to make this smaller so it can fit inside the circle above. So we use the data FA transform attribute with the value shrink 5, and we'll close the I tag again, like so. Now we can create the media content. So we add a div tag with the class media content, and inside this first media object we'll add the text Jeppe Schaumburg Jensen. Let's save this and see what it looks like now. We can see it here in the bottom, and if we increase the width it will jump to the second column here. This looks like we would expect. Now we need to make multiple copies of this media object. So in the first copy we want the birthday. We'll change the mail icon to a calendar alt icon, and the content will be the time element with the date time attribute with the value 1983 1206, and the text content will be 6th of December 1983. We'll close this time element again. In our next media object we want to place the phone number, so the icon will be phone, and in the media content we'll create an unordered list, so we change this div to a UL tag, and inside we place our list items. So in our first list item we'll add an anchor tag with the href attribute being tel colon plus, and then an example of a number here. So what this tel colon prefix does is that it tells the browser to look up for a calling app like Skype or something else. The text content will be 1, 2, 3. in brackets, then -56-7890. We'll close our anchor tag again. Then we'll create one more list item, and inside this we'll first add an icon. So this will be a brand icon using the class FAB. We'll give it a fixed width, and it will be the Skype icon, and the color will just be the default color. So we'll close this I tag again, and now we'll add an anchor tag. With the text being Skype user. We'll close this anchor tag again. We'll just copy this line and change the Skype icon to a WhatsApp icon and the text to WhatsApp user. Let's take a look and see how far we are. We'll refresh, and here we see what we currently have created. Let's continue. Actually, I just saw that these icons are too large, so I forgot that we needed to change this to 8 here. Let's save and have a quick look again. Now it looks much better. Okay. So we'll add one more media object here, and it will be for mail and LinkedIn and Twitter. So we'll change this phone icon to an envelope icon, and we'll still have an unordered list here. Instead of the telephone, we'll have a mail to prefix. So the browser will automatically open up a mail program. Instead of the Skype icon, we'll have a LinkedIn icon. And instead of WhatsApp, we'll have a Twitter icon. We'll also update this text here to LinkedIn and add Twitter user. Okay, we'll paste in one more media object, and this will be our address. So we'll change the icon to a home icon, and the unordered list will be a div tag again, like so, and inside we'll add the address element. So we'll just quickly add an address here with line breaks in between each line. Like so. Let's take a look at this. Go into our browser and see it here. Now we only need to create the message here, our form. So we go back to the code editor and paste in our media object one final time. We'll change the phone icon to the @ symbol. And we'll have the media content be a div tag again, like so. Now inside this, we'll create our form. So first we'll create the first name field. So we use a div tag with the class field. Since this is an add-on to the input element, we need to add the class has add-ons. Now for the add-on button, we'll add a div tag with the class control, And inside this, we'll add another div tag, the class button, and the class is static, and the text name, and close this div tag again. So we won't use a button tag since we don't want a button that the user can click on. We just want this to look like a static button that looks kind of disabled. Let's take a quick look again in the browser to see here we have the buttons. So these are with a gray background and attached to our input. Okay, so after this control, we'll add one more control, div tag with the class control, and then we'll add the class is expanded to make this expand the remaining width of the parent element. Now we can create our input. We'll give it the type attribute with value text, and we need to give it the class input. The name will just be name, and the placeholder attribute will be your name here. The name attribute is used when sending this information to the server, so it doesn't have any influence on the visual output. Okay, now let's copy this field and make some changes. The next field will be for the email, so we'll change the text here. The type will be email, and the name will be email, and the placeholder will be your email here. Now let's add one more field. This will be for the message itself, so we don't have any add-ons here. So I'll just remove this has add-ons class and remove the add-on itself, and I'll also move this class is expanded since this is a text area input. So I can just quickly erase this. We'll add the text area element. We'll give it the class text area. The name will be message, and the placeholder will be your message here. And finally, we want this to have 3 rows, so this is the height of the text area. Finally, we need to add the submit button, so we add the button tag with the type submit and the class button, and we want this to have the primary color, so we also add the class is primary. The text on the button will be sent message, and we'll close the button tag again. Let's save and see this in the browser. Here we see our form to send the message, and we see that it has these add-ons that looks like static buttons or disabled buttons. This was the contact info box.